If you record and mix your own music, you've probably heard what a dry vocal sounds like in a mix. Doesn't sound that great. It's not connected to the instruments, and it just kind of lives in its own space. And a lot of times people will reach for something like reverb to put on the vocal to then give it a sense of space or to try to glue it to the instruments. But I find that that's not always a good route, especially when we're talking about more in-your-face genres like rock, metal, hip hop, rap, things where you want the vocalist very close to the listener. And that's one of the reasons why I actually don't like using a lot of reverb when I'm mixing vocals. Sometimes I don't use reverb at all, but I want to show you the way that you can still get a vocal to fit into a mix without having to use reverb. And I'm going to show you what the advantages are over using something like reverb. Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Bobby Balo, and I'm the mixing and mastering engineer at Rayton Productions. I drop weekly videos dedicated to helping you make better sounding music out of your home studio. As a thank you for your time and attention today, I have a free gift for you. In the description is a link to download a free ebook on my vocal delay secrets. So if you like what you see in this video and you want to learn about all the settings that I use on my lead vocals to get the cool delay effects that I'm using in a lot of my mixes, that book has all of the details in it. It's a great resource, especially if you're trying to find a new way to make your vocals pop. So that sounds interesting to you, go and check out that free download in the description. The song we're working with today is by a band called Dear Spring. This track is called Gold Walls. It's one that I mixed and mastered a few years ago. And I've already gone ahead and removed all of the vocal effects on the lead vocal. So we just have a totally dry vocal. So let me play this and give you a little sense for what the song sounds like. And just a quick disclaimer, I've turned up the vocals a little bit louder than what you would typically have them in a mix, just so you can help hear the differences.
For a convenient lie, your temperature is cold. Well, you've been painting the walls gold, and you've been at it for quite a minute now, but I'm touching yours.
All right, so you probably noticed dry vocals really sound disconnected from the mix. Let's listen to them just by themselves.
Dreaded, a fictional horizon, it reaching to temperature is cold. Well, you've been painting the walls gold, and you.
So there's a little bit of ambience on this track, but that's actually from the recording. So this isn't super, super dry, but this will still be a great example. Typically, when I'm mixing vocals, if I do want a big, lush vocal that's not super in your face, I tend to use 2 or 3 different types of reverbs. The first reverb is usually like a hall-style reverb. I'm using these plugins by Lexicon. I also like to use a plate reverb on vocals, and then sometimes I'll use another plugin that simulates a room, so like an actual space for the vocals to sit in, so they feel like they're more connected with the mix. But here's the problem I have when I'm trying to get a song that has an in-your-face vocal that's also glued to the instruments. So when you use all these reverb plugins, what ends up happening is the vocalist starts getting pushed back psychoacoustically in our mind into the mix. So they no longer feel like they're in front of the instrumentation. But if you don't have the reverb there, everything is a little bit disconnected, right? Let me show you what it sounds like when I turn the reverbs on for this song and then focus on where the position of the vocalist is in the mix. And you'll find that when the reverbs are on, it feels like the vocalist got pushed deeper into the mix. And now it's a little bit less aggressive and not so in your face, which is the opposite of what we're trying to achieve in this track. All right, so we'll start with just the lead vocal played by itself, because that'll be the easiest to hear. Here we go.
A fictional horizon, it reaching to the zenith for the truth, or a convenient lie.
Okay, you probably noticed that the vocalist immediately gets thrown deeper into the mix, right?
A fictional
Without reverb?
horizon, it reaching to the zenith for the truth.
So in your mind, when the reverb's there, the vocalist feels way, way, way deeper. So it could really mess up the spatial imaging of a track. Now, instead of using reverbs, you can use something else called a delay. And a delay is just like an echo. And when I use delays, when I'm mixing songs, I tend to use a few different delays as well. I have videos on my favorite vocal delay tricks. If you want to check that out, there's a link up here somewhere. And that is a great video if you want some cool tricks. But the difference with the delay versus the reverb is the delay doesn't trick our brain into thinking that the vocalist is back deeper in the mix. It still feels like the vocalist is up front, but now you have all these echoes and this lushness to the vocal that helps it to gel with the instrumentation, okay? So let me play the vocal again, but this time let's put the delays in.
A fictional horizon, reaching to the zenith for the truth, or a convenient lie.
Did you notice that the vocalists didn't feel like they got pushed back when I turned the delays on? Listen one more time.
A fictional horizon, reaching to the zenith for the truth, or a convenient lie.
Maybe they got pushed back a tiny, tiny bit, but it's nothing like the reverb. Let's go back to the reverb quickly.
A fictional horizon, reaching to the zenith for the truth, or a convenient lie.
To me, that difference is remarkable. Now what I want to do is play the full mix, and then I'll put in the reverb, and I want you to listen for the vocalist being pushed back in the mix, and then I'll do the same thing with the delay and see if the vocalist stays in front. Here we go.
Your temperature is cold, well, you've been painting the walls gold, and you've been at it for quite a minute now, but I'm touching yours.
Now let's do the same thing with the delay.
Your temperature is cold, well, you've been painting the walls gold, and you've been at it for quite a minute now, but I'm touching yours. Circling the skies above.
I just find it remarkable that there's really not a lot of videos that talk about this. So when you're mixing your next song, don't feel obligated to just go and throw on a reverb just to help it try to blend in with the instruments. Because what you're also going to do is push the vocalist deeper into the mix. If the goal is to bring the vocalist up front and in your face, then you're probably going to want to use something like a delay. Now, I'm not saying don't ever use reverbs. Depending on the situation, I tend to use reverbs often on vocals, but usually that's more for sonic placement more than to connect everything in the mix. So on the next song that you're mixing, try to use just delays and no reverbs. See if you like what it does to the vocal. And then come back here and let me know in the comments what you thought. I'm also curious if you already do something like this, or if you have other strategies of getting the vocals to be placed differently in the mix. Drop a comment and let's start a conversation. Don't forget to download my Vocal Delay Secrets PDF that's in the description. It goes into all the details for how I set up delay buses for my lead vocals. I think you're gonna find that super valuable. If you got any value out of this video at all, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And it would mean the world to me if you would share this video or another video with your friends on social media platforms like Facebook or Reddit. Helps get the word out, share some cool insights into mixing that a lot of people don't usually think about. With that, I want to thank you so much for your time and attention today. My name is Bobby Balo, and I'll see you in another video.